Okay, pedigree analysis explanation. Generations I. They have the numbers 1, 2, and 3. These mean generations, as I said before. So 1, generation 2, generation 3. Moving on to the shapes. Square means it's male. This means it's female. And after that, we have these lines. What do they mean? They are marriage links. So this means these people are married, they are married, they are married, and they are married. Shaded shapes mean they are affected by the trait that they want to track. So as we can see here, this is a recessive trait, since if it wasn't, and if it was a dominant trait, the male would have also been affected. If you can't remember, recessive, 2 small, dominant, 1 big, 1 small. And moving on, as we can see, actually I should probably annotate that on here. E, 2 small e, and then carry on. So, person number 2, they have not been affected by the trait. That means they've gotten a dominant gene from the father, and they still carry the recessive gene from the mother. The person that they've married doesn't carry the gene either, so it was less likely for the offspring to have the gene. As you can see, they do not have it, so that goes to show how unlikely it is, I guess. Person number 3 has gotten the recessive trait, which means they got small e from the mother and father. The person they married does not have the trait, so they weren't affected by it, but the offspring are both affected by it. So this means that the person number 4, second generation, has a dominant and a recessive gene, which was passed down to both of their offspring. And then you got number 5, which was affected, so they've also got 2 recessive genes, alleles, not sure. The person they married also does, because number 5, third generation, also is affected by the recessive trait. Yeah, that's it. In the next slide. So we got dominant 1. So that means that parents have to have big E, small e, or they have big E and big E, but probably not, because number 7 isn't affected, so that means they both need to also have a recessive trait. Same goes for here. Anyways, moving on. 5, 6 are affected, 7 isn't, 8 isn't either. So this means that they've both gotten a recessive, the recessive trait, and aren't affected by the dominant one, which means their offspring, none of them will have the dominant trait, so none of them have a chance of being affected. Okay, that's it. Moving on to the final one, which is sex-linked chromosomes. So sex-linked trait, if you do not remember, males have X and Y chromosome, females have an X and X chromosome. As you can see here, this means that none of the females will have will be affected, which you can see by 5 and 6. They are not affected, whilst 4 and 8 are. Number 7 over here in generation 2, which what would be generation 2. Let's just put that in. You got 1 and you got 3. Great drawings, I know. 1, 2, and 3. Number 7 isn't affected, which means that none of the offspring will be affected, because they don't have a chance of getting the trait since it can't come from the mother, neither nor the father. And yeah, that's really it. Right. Hope you understand.